Paula Pell, you had art imitating life this season on Girls5eva because they wrote in your knee replacement surgery. So
I-
what was the original early story for Gloria before that?
We don't ever know until we're at the table reads. I mean, for once in my life, I am not in the know about the scripts because I've mostly been a writer. So I'm used to being very much in the loop. And I'm kind of joyfully not in the loop this time because I have such extreme trust with this group of people, having some of them being my friends for 25 plus years. And then Meredith, who I just absolutely adore her writing. And I know that she's just going to hand us like actual solid gold scripts. So I'm turning my phone off because I just heard it ding. Because I'm blowing up,
You're
Hollywood
so
and all.
popular, yeah.
Yeah, all that. It's probably my wife going, did the cat poop weird yesterday? Um, but yeah, Meredith never really, she has a great poker face, and so does Tina and Robert on all and Jeff and Eric. They're very good at like not implying what it's gonna be. But I called them in tears in the summer because I found out that one of my knee replacements I already had gotten 5 years ago had failed and like collapsed, and I was in a lot of pain, and I called them and I said I'm going to have to get a whole new knee replacement during this couple months in between the seasons, and I hope it doesn't mess up anything. And they were like, oh my god, that is the most glorious storyline ever. So they were like, thank you very much, we hadn't really figured that out yet, and you handed us a good one. So
It's really
yeah.
good. And it gave us so much if in the first episode because we have you high on Percocet and that incredible moment, the Zoom and the jingle, because Percocet apparently stands for Pink Eye Rabbits charging on claws, eternally tender. But
Eternally tender.
yeah. So what is the key to playing high on Percocet?
Well, I had to dig back on just being high or drunk in my youth. I occasionally get tipsy or high now, but I really had to remember that when you are high or drunk, you're always trying to fight against it a little bit. So it's kind of like you're steadying yourself, but it's there and undeniable in your eyes and in your face. So I was also trying, because I've done a lot of theater in my youth, and that's where I came from. And I was used to being up on a stage and kind of projecting everything. And now that I've been doing more acting in the last like heavier acting in the last 5 years. I've done some in the last 20, but like really heavily doing it on camera, I realize more and more how much the camera picks up little teeny nuances. And we had the camera on a dolly, and our cameraman was just coming like straight at me each time. And so I knew that I could do just the tiniest little twitches and things. And Jeff was directing it. Jeff um, was giving me really good suggestions of like, just take a journey of all things, and Meredith, like terror, like all the things that happen when you're tripping. And so you can kind of see that I'm through a lot of facial journey in it.
Yeah. Incredible face acting, A plus all around. But also, if it wasn't for your knee surgery, Girls5eva would not have their first single off of Returnity, Then Not Break.
I know, and I just love that song so much. So many of the songs on this show, really all of them are such earworms that I walk around humming them and I don't even realize that I'm humming them or singing them. And that Bend Not Break just like was such an emotional, weird mix of hilarity and there's so many songs in this show that are exactly in my favorite wheelhouse of comedy, which is comedy that has moments where you actually choke up and get tearful and genuinely tearful, like because there's so much heart in it. And so the Bend Not Break, because that was really a awful thing that happened last summer, and I had been so proud of getting through that double knee replacement 5 years ago, and I just was like, I can do anything if I can get through that. That was just like, double, like everyone kept telling me, people come in here that have difficult childbirth, and they're like, knee replacements sometimes can be more painful. And I thought I did two at once, and I was so cocky about how I came out of it just so mobile. And so when it messed up, I really thought I had failed in a lot of ways. So it was like a very glorious moment to be up there singing and dancing at the end of the season and singing
And
that
it's
song.
such a it's a catchy song, and it's one
Yeah.
of like, yeah, like you said, like some of the songs like obviously very silly, but other ones are just really heartfelt.
Yeah, and
Well,
the message of leaning on each other and like when you're falling apart. And that's, I think, the thread, the connective tissue of this whole show is the friendships that these ladies have. They always had, but they weren't fully formed people yet back then. And they were the sort of the creation of others, and now they're the creation of themselves. They're creating themselves, and they need each other. And we all love those storylines where we end up at the end of the episode, just like the finale of the first season, of us walking, all four of us arm in arm, going like, let's go do this. And I think this year the finale is the same thing. We're saying like, wow, I can't believe we're even having the courage to go and try to do what we love, but we're doing it.
yeah. Well, I think a big episode for Gloria is the fifth one, when she is convinced that this masked pop star TK is Ashley, who in the season one finale she thinks faked her own death. And it, like you said, it like by the end it becomes like really poignant, like almost surprisingly poignant, because it kind of speaks to Gloria's like need to like please people and like help people. And like Ashley was kind of the person who really encouraged her back in the day to,
Yes.
be
You,
more confident.
we've hit on it a few times. We hit on it in the first season, and then this season it really comes to a head in that episode that we lost this we lost this member that kind of always knew who she was, and we don't know who we are. So we would look to her back in the day. There's always that, in a group of people, in a group of friends, there's always the one that you look to, that you just go, oh God,
Like they have it together. Yeah.
what should we do? And she was the one that had the most courage to say like, no, we're not dealing with that bullshit. And so without her, we were really flailing, and we still are flailing. And to think for a moment in my murder podcast brain of like, this is it. This is it. And putting two and two together to make, eight. None of it is true, but I'm trying to make it fit in this puzzle, and everyone is rolling their eyes. And it's so poignant to know that like you're gonna have to figure it out. Like sometimes you don't have your person that helps you figure it out. And with that, and then what I really got emotional about in that scene, when I was in the lobby with Renee, and it was such a fun thing to be paired with Renee in that episode, was that I love that Wiki is really very real in that moment, where she's like, I didn't not come because I was doing this. I didn't come because I was afraid. I was afraid to come and face my loss, like my sadness. And I thought it was such a good, I love when the characters, and not in a way that betrays the character, but just you see the underbelly of them, where you go, oh, even ridiculous characters in this world, we all know, have that little
Yeah,
underbelly where
for
you
sure.
go, oh, that's your vulnerable part. Yeah.
Yeah, I was speaking to Busy earlier, and we were talking about like how it, like the four of them really are pushing each other out of their own comfort zones without Ashley.
Yes, absolutely. It's like we take turns being the Ashley. We each take turns being the motivator, the one that tells the other person, don't settle for that. Don't take, and just like a good family where, everyone's got their strong day, or good workplace where everyone's got their strong day, where they come in and go, okay, I've just decided that we have been doing this, taking this too long, or not believing in ourselves, like the one that goes, this is what we're going to go do what we need and what we want. And also, I think the poignant thing about that episode for Gloria is the hanging on to things that might not be for her anymore, like the Caroline of it all, and her ex, and like trying to hold on to anything that feels safe and like home, and and they don't exist. So she has to create those things now, you know. And maybe they exist within her now, and she doesn't want to believe that. She just wants to go back to the go-tos, ex-wife,
Yeah, and
and
then her like they move in at the end of the season. It's like, should they be living together? I don't know.
yeah, it,
Or should Gloria date more? Other fish in the sea.
yeah,
But your
Gloria's
wife
having a
plays
lot of
her.
doubts, and that song really makes me laugh when she's like sexual. She's having like seeing everything as some weird sexual thing of a woman beckoning her, like, Gloria,
Yeah,
come to me, you know, feed me like a
she's
horse.
terrible. Yeah, but yeah, your wife, Janine Rita plays Caroline. So what is it like playing opposite her? And she's playing your ex, and you're sort of chasing her, but not really.
It's a delight. I mean, it takes a little acting to pretend like that we're not working, because I really do absolutely adore her, and we have a wonderful marriage, and we're so happy we found each other, and we're kind of nauseatingly adore each other. So there is a little bit, you know, when we do have the times that we have to have all that distance and all that disconnection in those scenes, like it's hard to it's hard to pretend, but it's fun to pretend. And it's just fun to have her next to me. And I think she's just so wonderful and such a delight as a, you know, performer and a person. So I love it. I did have to, I've said this before, but I did have to explain to the crew that first time when we're like in bed making out in the first season, like I realized that a lot of them didn't realize it was my wife. And I'm like whispering to her, and we're like talking, and we're all snuggled in the bed in between takes. And I'm like, you guys know this is my wife, right? And then people really laughed because a lot of them did not know. And they
They're
were
like, oh, thank God.
God, she's really going for it with this special guest star. Jesus, calm down, Paula.
Amazing. Well, we have to talk about the finale because you take on a property brother, kick his ass, Drew
I
Scott.
kick his ass.
Yeah, with
Yes.
your bionic knee, Gloria's bionic knee. What went into all that?
Titanium. It was such an incredible day of my life. It was an entire day of shooting. We had, I can't remember if it was a Friday, but it was a day that everyone else was not shooting, and it was just me and the property brothers and our crew and our director and you know, our wonderful staff of people, crew of people. And you know, the night before they sent me a video of the actual, because I was really nervous about, sometimes I get, if I get nervous, I like can't remember the sequence of things. And I was like, the sequence of each move, and they said we can just do it in little parts, don't worry, because you're going to have the stunt person coming in doing a lot of the parts. And when I did AP Bio, they had me do some stunts, and I had fun. And Mapleworth Murders, I did a lot of stunts, and I absolutely love doing them. And so I was like, I do want to do as many as I can, because I like when you see the actual actor's face and you know they're doing it. Is funnier to me, more satisfying than if you see a cutaway to the back of someone's head. So I was nervous about remembering all of it, and we shot it, you know, slowly but like steadily, where once I learned it, I learned the sequence of it, and then we just started playing. And it was really great because Drew Scott is such a good stuntman, like he really is. And that's how they got the idea to do that move in the show, because he has a reel of stuff that he's posted before that is just amazing. And so I felt so safe, because when you're with a good stunt person and you're doing all these punches, you just know they're not going to nail you. There isn't that constant like, oh God, please. And plus with my knees being, you know, fairly new and everything, I was like, ah, and I didn't feel that at all. Once we started doing it, it was like a dance. It was like we were doing all our dance moves, and God, we had fun and we laughed, and and when Jonathan says, you know, kill him, do it, like whispering, do it. It just said it all. It's like when these guys have been working together every day of their life, they're twins. It's like, just fucking kill him, just kill him.
It's so good. Yeah, like the dry line reading. And then I love when after
And
they explain to you why they didn't pick.
so they were
Yeah.
such incredible sweethearts. They're both 6'4". They're so tall, and I came up to their testicles, and it was just at one point I actually did suggest a wang punch. I was like, should I just punch him right in the crotch? Because we were trying to come up with funny punches. Because I was like, it's all right here. We're all like such tall and shorts that it would be funny. But
You didn't go for it? No.
I didn't go for it. I don't think his groin was a member of. I always used to say that because I've been topless so many times in shows. I always said my boobs were a member of SAG because it was a good laugh on set.
Yeah.
SAG. Anyway,
No, I love the whole sequence. And then just like when they explain why you guys weren't picked to be the opening act, and then they just quickly turn to the camera and it's like, we'll be right back with like Caitlin to talk about like their remodeled home. Just like
they turned on their HGTV, like just that smile and like, we'll be right back. And they just had this violent fight with an older woman that they were like, who the hell is it and who let her in? And I just really love doing that. And I'm very excited about hearing from friends and strangers that have seen it and did not expect it, because a lot of people that have seen it are like, what? Like it's just really one of those moments that I can't wait for people to be very surprised.
This is your action star moment. So
yes. And anyone out there that wants to, cast me as an action star, listen.
There you go. This is your reel right now.
I know I'm right in the wheelhouse.
So the actual ending of the episode, you guys go on tour, hitting the road on your own, tour mode. What would you like to see in season 3?
Oh God, it's going to be so fun. I would love to go on tour with them, because I just think, and well, who knows where we will shoot those tour venues, but the idea of going into like real America, like just like really getting out of New York and just being with like different kinds of fans. And I love the idea that Gloria meets other women and other queer women in different small towns. And I just anticipate it being really funny. And there's something just so funny to me about, so ripe comedically, even as thinking as a writer, about small scale tours, because there's just so much that is not vetted. And there's not a manager, and and so we can really get into some mess. And that's where the joy is at this show, is like, we are the underdogs continuously, and you don't want us to really like fully
we want you to be successful, but not too successful.
No, not too successful. Little moments of success that we can celebrate, and then we're like, what? What? Yeah, because that's the fun of any character. You don't want, I always said that I wrote joyful losers at SNL, and that was my favorite thing, is like the cheerleaders are like, people are, giving the finger to Bobby and Marty, and but they still have one little victory in it, and they're like, we're gonna do this. So
a tour is also good, because I feel like Gloria could maybe solve like a small town murder, because she's such a murder nuts.
Yes, she's definitely gonna probably know the murders in
many mall murders.
She was flirting with the women, talking about the mall murders. Like, she's gonna know all the very eccentric little weird town things that happen in murders, and she's going to want to investigate them. And then maybe there's a hot detective that wears her badge right on her belt.
I know. Sorry to Caroline.
Played by Mariska Hargitay. I'm not suggesting, but I'm suggesting.
In the NBC Peacock family, so we can make it happen. Well, lastly, I talked to Jeff Richmond, and he said he was talking to Lorne Michaels, who said that you are one of the top 5 funniest people in the world, and Jeff says you're top 3. So what do you have to say to that?
So sweet. Oh God, that will make me cry if I think about that for too long. That is really, really so ungodly sweet. I love Jeff so much, and I've known Jeff since I've known Tina, and it was years and years and years ago, 97. And We have just sat in so many apartments and sang around a piano and sang Broadway tunes and goofed around. And, you know, and for him to score when I did Mapleworth Murders, for him to come on and score that show for Quibi. And like, we just had so much fun throughout the years doing things at SNL. And then we got to do, and then this became like such a deep immersive time with him. So I'm so blessed to have more time with Jeff. And Lauren is just one of my dearest people in my life who changed my life. So I also adore him back.
They're
I'm
not
sure
wrong.
he's watching. I'm sure Lauren is watching. He watches
He's definitely watching this
everything I do. He's got an alert. He's got a Google alert. I'm sure he's
every time someone says his name, he knows. So yeah. Well, Paula, it was great speaking with you. Thanks so much for your time, and fingers crossed for season 3. Mini mall murders solved, hopefully.
Thank you so much, and thanks for giving me time to talk about the show. We love it, and we can't wait for more people to see this season and to see this finale. And it's just something else.
Yes, awesome. Thank you.